fighting games are changing the I don't know the base of the series. I guess I don't really know because like we've been discussing games, or we've been trying to discuss games rather for the past 12 episodes, but it didn't really work out. So we just went fuck it.
Everything boils down into talking about either Guilty Gear or cracking jokes about Mortal Kombat crossovering with franchises it really shouldn't.
Yes.
I don't know, why is it always specifically Mortal Kombat? Is it just because of fatalities?
Maybe.
Then why don't we joke about tattoo assassins crossing over with other things?
No. The bigger question is, why don't we joke about some shows crossing over with other things? Because they have fatalities too. Well, they had fatalities in five special. I forget if the other games had it, but yeah.
Yeah, but they're kind of emasculated fatalities.
But yeah, they're not the best, but you know, they worked with what they had, and I actually I do some of them. I don't remember most of them, to be fair. Like most of them, if I remember correctly, are kind of lame, but I do kind of prefer them to modern MK fatalities, just because like neither Sam Show's fatalities or the modern MK fatalities do anything for me, but at least usually the Sam Show ones are fast.
A couple of them are cool, but I think it's ridiculous to say that they're better than modern Mortal Kombat fatalities, because modern Mortal Kombat fatalities do have a lot of work and creativity put into them. They do just take too much time, though.
I don't know, like, to me, I don't get wowed by fatalities anymore, just because, like, there is a lot of creativity put into them, I guess, but like I just like I feel like I just don't get it, because when I was real big into Mortal Kombat with 2 and 3, that's when they started having the joke fatalities, and those are the ones that I liked. And while there are joke fatalities still, it's like I don't know, they don't hit the same.
Yeah, I mean, well, there aren't really joke fatalities anymore, are there? Like,
here's Johnny. That's the only one I can think
you're
of.
right. Yeah. I would say both of Joker's, but like I don't remember Joker's fatalities.
One of isn't one of them just the fatality he had in MK versus DC, but not censored?
No, Shang Tsung got that one.
Oh yeah.
As bizarre as it sounds.
Yeah, I remember. So yeah. I don't know. Like there aren't as many joke fatalities, definitely, and I mean, like, there are joke fatalities. It's just they're not jokes made by NetherRealm and Ed Boon. They're jokes made at NetherRealm and Ed Boon, because like, do you remember the freaking Do you remember was it Lin Kuei? Lin Kuei's faction fatality in MKX that was just one of Reiko's moves and that's it.
Oh yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
Like those are joke fatalities, but they're not for the right reason.
Yeah, it was very clearly like just something they threw together like that. Which, I mean, for them to not be actual character fatalities, but just something that you could do like that, I can understand them not being quite as strong, especially because it's not going to be character based, so you're not going to get that added appeal from like the character specific fatalities, right?
Yeah.
Because like the Here's Johnny fatality that you just mentioned wouldn't be the same like if it was done by Liu Kang. You'd be like, what the fuck? Why did Liu Kang do that? You know?
Yeah, like I can understand why they're like less budgeted, those faction fatalities. At the same time, like, you know, you can't really look at them and not call them lame.
Yeah, well, not all of them are terrible. Like, there was one where you summoned Smoke on screen, and he'd do, like, his fatality from Mortal Kombat 9, where he'd smoke through them and they'd scald to death.
Yeah. I never liked that fatality.
Ah.
And that's the thing, like, most, like, you know, the appeal of fatalities in the modern era is how gruesome and how creative they are in how they murder people. I am desensitized to that shit. It does nothing for me. So I like, you know, people are like, oh, noob, rip this guy in half with his shadow clone, and I'm just going, yup, that sure is what happened on screen, because I don't give a fuck.
I value creativity a lot more than gore, but I have to admit, brutality, excuse me. I value creativity more than brutality. But I have to admit, there are a few that are just like so repulsive that it's just instinct, like has a style of its own. And the two that I can think of are Melina's fatality in Mortal Kombat X, where she rips the guy in half and starts eating his insides, and the Devora one in Mortal Kombat 11, where she basically impregnates the opponent.
I mean,
Those were both like disgustingly brutal.
the entirety of Devora is disgusting to me, but that's just because I hate insects with a passion. So I fucking hate Devora so hard.
I think that's the desired reaction with Devora, because they just like they also go out of their way to write her as being like the most unpleasant character. She fucking kills Scorpion in Mortal Kombat 11.
Ah,
Like if Ed Boon wants someone to hate a character, they make him kill Scorpion.
yeah. The only way Ed Boon knows how to write assholes is to kill his self-insert.
Yeah.
So yeah, news. I guess we could talk about the Guilty. Yeah, I mean we could talk about the Guilty Gear drama that's going on. That will definitely be over by the time this video releases. But who gives a fuck anymore?
Yeah, I did notice there was something about like Sonic Fox said like, "Yeah, guys, I don't actually really like Strive that much," and that somehow led to. I don't know if Sonic Fox started it actually. That's kind of just like
Sonic Fox did start it. They said that they said that they are not really enjoying Strive anymore because there's like the basically from what I remember, to summarize everything that was said between him, Kizzy K, and someone else, I think. The overall thing of those three people was just like Strive doesn't really have as much like player expression and agency as the earlier GGs. And it feels really limiting sometimes, especially if you don't have meter. Like when you have meter, there is a good amount of player expression and agency, but when you don't, then you can really feel that. And some characters have this a lot worse than others. And Sonic Fox hasn't been really feeling like playing Strive because of this, which I can understand because that's why I didn't buy the game. So
yeah,
like. This is like what Sonic Fox has said resonated with me and also a lot of people who were told to shut the fuck up before release. because these are
been telling you to shut the fuck up?
What?
Who's been telling you to shut the fuck up?
Oh, it not me, but personally. It's just been a thing of like this is a thing whenever a long running series changes itself from my experience at least. With at least with the inclusion of internet culture is that the new blood starts pouring in that like the new thing. The old blood doesn't like it for one reason or another, and then it just boils down to the old blood going new thing bad, and the new blood going fuck off. And that's basically what most like I don't even want to call them arguments because they're not arguments. It's literally just people trying to yell over each other. And then somehow that acting like that makes them right. Like both sides can have points.
Yeah, I guess I just don't care that much about like the Twitter zeitgeist and what they've got to say. I just haven't noticed that.
Oh, it's not on Twitter. Most of the shit that I see with shit like this is the Reddit communities because that's like I get my news from Reddit. So
yeah.
That's the thing that I get to. Those are the things that I get to interact with on a very limited lurking, freaking whatever, and like it has happened with Assassin's Creed. I didn't stick around with Yakuza long enough to actually know if people were telling the old. Like, oh no! I did stick around long enough to know if people were telling the old guard to shut the fuck up and move to something else because that has happened. And then I quit that community too because like the thing is. Out of all of the things that changed, I'm the least butthurt about Yakuza because Yakuza, like you can draw a diagram where I'm the least butthurt about Yakuza, I'm somewhat butthurt about Guilty Gear, and I'm very butthurt about Assassin's Creed, and that all of that is just because both Yakuza and Guilty Gear do what they set out to do good, so it's easier to stomach for me. because I may not like what's currently being presented as part of the series that I like, but at the same time, it is at least in a vacuum a good product, and I can value that. Assassin's Creed is not a good product.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to fighting games.
And I think like also like was like Assassin's Creed has a long running plot, which will probably never end until like the series starts running out of money. But it can feel like you're missing out on big parts of the plot. Whereas with Guilty Gear, the plot's pretty much over, and the plot was always carried out through story cutscenes, which you can watch on YouTube. You know?
Yeah, and Yakuza, Yakuza ended its story with that main character, so I don't have things to tune into anymore if I don't want to.
Like Ichiban's whole thing pretty well just isn't Yakuza. It's just a new series.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't. It's much harder to get game publishers to agree to making a new franchise versus what if we just make a new entry in this classic franchise, but it's nothing like the previous franchise.
Yeah.
So you're telling me it'll still make money? Great. Okay.
And so, like with Guilty Gear, I complain a lot about Guilty Gear Strive. But that's not because that is not because I hate Guilty Gear Strive. It's because I want to like it really fucking hell, really a lot. But I just can't, because anything it does, there's things that either do it better or just in ways that I am more familiar with at this point, and familiarity is a very strong thing to have on your side when it comes to things like this, because it is the tired comparison for Strive, but like if I want to play Strive, I can play Street Fighter V, and Street Fighter V is not much different from Strive. There's faster startups on moves, and there's no air dashes, or okay, there's no air dashes, RC or burst.
There's still more combo freedom than what 5 tends to offer.
For Soul, usually. I don't.
Soul, yeah, Soul is a different game. I'd also say it's just generally a way better visually looking game than 5.
I don't know. Like I can forgive visuals. I can forgive visuals. There are things where things go too far. Street Fighter, obviously Strive will look better because it's newer, and also it's fucking Arxis. So, like, but yeah, I'd like graphics for me aren't a big enough driving thing in fighting games, at least for like if something looks really good in video games overall, but in fighting games even more so. Like I'm not inclined to play a game just because it looks good, and I can actually give you an example. I forget which one it was. I think it was Fatal Fury.
Dong Dong Never Die.
No, there was a Fatal Fury game. I forget which one it was. It wasn't a real bout one, I don't think. But it came out around the time that Tekken and Virtua Fighter were selling gangbusters in arcades or whatever, taking in all the money through the arcade machines. And SNK went, apparently people really like the very well animated games that don't really have as much that feel different is the best way to put it nicely. And so they went ahead and made a 2D fighting game in the Fatal Fury series, I want to say, that has like the best animation that I have seen. Okay, not the best, but it's some of the best animation that I have seen. Like it rivals Kim Spence in 13 type of animation for every character. And it feels horrible to play because there's all of the startup and all of the freaking what's word I'm looking for.
You are talking about Garrow, right?
No, not Garrow. I have played Garrow. I like Garrow.
I'm just trying to think of like really well animated Fatal Fury game. I
want to say it was Fatal Fury, but it was a Fatal Fury game where they changed that geese because geese was already dead, but they just changed that geese to like Tesco geese.
I don't recall this. Are we sure it's not Art of Fighting 3?
Maybe it's Art of Fighting 3. I don't remember.
Because Art of Fighting 3 has a very unique look.
I'll look at it, and we'll see. Oh, it may be Art of Fighting 3. Now that you say it, yeah. I can't tell from the stills.
Yeah. And Art of Fighting 3 also had this bizarre thing where everyone looks like they're kind of animated along the same skeleton, which makes everyone look almost a bit generic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't remember the freaking the details with that, but like I remember that like the big takeaway that I the reason I got wowed by that game is just because of the graphical fidelity in the animations, as in there were a lot more frames than usual.
Yeah, especially with SNK.
Yeah, but because there were a lot more frames, you know, because the punch wasn't 3 frames, it was 12. You felt those 12 frames, and the game felt sluggish to play. And that's basically like the thing for me with Strive is that like Strive looks really nice and all that, but because of the like the Strive doesn't even use the animation things from what I could tell. So you know I could be wrong, but it doesn't even use the animation to justify it, because like I don't like Mortal Kombat for the same reason I don't like playing Mortal Kombat for the same reason I don't like playing Strive. The animation, the amount of startup of moves makes it feel like I'm playing underwater or whatever. Like, you know, it doesn't feel nice freaking inputting a punch and then waiting like 2 seconds for the punch to actually come out. But at least Mortal Kombat, and like this is like you go back to like one of the earlier episodes of freaking fighting games are, and I'm gonna be shitting all over Mortal Kombat and freaking praising Strive or whatever, because you know things changed. But like
Yeah.
like Mortal Kombat, as much as I don't like some of the animations in it, can at least justify the amount of startup on the moves, because they're animated in because the moves are animated in 3D, and they're not taking any shortcuts. Now, whether they should take shortcuts is another argument to be had, but you know, Strive on the other hand, for the most part, still has animations that are very reminiscent of like classic 2D fighters, where you know obviously a punch that's supposed to be 3 frames has startup that you don't feel as much, and then the punch is fast because it you know that's how it gets impact and stuff like that. But Strive's punches and like the normals overall didn't feel like they justified the amount of startup you felt on them, to me at least. And like obviously that could have been changed, because startups can be fixed post launch and stuff like that with balance changes. And like and the last time I played Strive was during the first open beta, so you know.
Yeah.
And then now to go back to the actual topic of this whole Twitter thing going on. So Sonic Fox just saying, "Hey, I'm not really feeling like Strive today," has put a bomb in the Strive community for some reason, and now they're all trying to debunk him, and everybody who has any problem with Strive is now trying to suck their cock and stuff like that. You know, the usual.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you shouldn't pick a fight with a peanut gallery because you can't win. But at the same time, the peanut gallery gets so fucking annoying that it's like, well, fuck, you know?
I thought you know, does the peanut gallery get that annoying, but also they like, depending on the developer, they may actually have power, and that's a scary thought.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very much a problem.
And like with Guilty Gear, it seems to be like this weird, like obviously Daisuke's vision comes first from what we've seen so far. Daisuke's vision comes first. That's why Soul is the only character able to play Guilty Gear still. But you know,
Yeah.
but at the same time, Daisuke isn't the battle coordinator. That it's that Akira guy, if I remember correctly, and who knows how much feedback they actually take from the different like unofficial official places like the Reddit, or like that, like people spamming their Twitter accounts and shit. Like obviously they don't pay too much attention to it, because I mean, if they paid attention to it, then the game, like Strive would have released with naked Ramletol statue first and foremost.
Yep.
But you know,
No, it's just a picture of her thighs. Nothing.
no,
Nothing
no,
else.
no, 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 no. It's a 1-to-1 life size replication of Ramletol's lower region, like under her waist, with a built-in flashlight.
I think that's the next development in body pillow technology. Oh
Uh,
man. Oh man, I don't think I mentioned this, but a couple of weeks ago, I don't know how or why, but shortly after I got Mass Effect Legendary Edition for my birthday,
you got the femshep on
my,
Takimakura?
no, no, but my mom stumbled on I don't know why, but on some shopping site, she stumbled on Garrus body pillows.
Ah, I see.
At which point, I don't only decided, hey, you know what? Not only am I going to explain that whole thing, I'm going to explain the infamous thing of feeding Garrus. You ever heard about feeding Garrus?
No.
I've not seen the actual thing itself. I've only heard about it from Pat from Super Best Friends. But there was apparently some instance. I don't know if like it was an actual video of them doing it or if like just evidence someone found on their computer monitor. But there was, I guess, some chick who was setting up on her computer screen like a big picture of Garrus. And while she'd eat, she'd like I guess imagine she was having dinner with Garrus and would feed him from the bowl, like trying to feed the computer screen.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I recently found out that Bad Dragon sells things other than dildos. Speaking of Dakimakuras.
Uh yeah, I guess they should look into a Turian model of dildo, shouldn't they? That'd probably be a big success.
I mean, I don't really browse their wares. I have just like I've just seen too many pictures of like, you know, the people in Bad Dragon shirts and freaking and mugs and shit like that for them to not sell them.
You know, that's a certain degree of pride over that kind of thing when you do that.
I mean,
I'm
honest,
gonna wear a T-shirt that tells everyone I buy massive dildos.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't like. I would never buy a dildo from them. I would probably buy a shirt just for the fucking hell of it, just for the joke.
If you want to make a fucking dank meme
Yeah,
for your YouTube channels, just what? Don't even talk about it. Just have one of your videos. You are just wearing a Bad Dragon shirt. You don't even mention it.
yeah. No mention about it. Just do a whole video in an Aha Go Shrek shirt. No one will notice. No one will.
Yeah. Nobody will know.
But yeah. So anyway, fighting games. They teased Street Fighter 6.
Yes, they showed off a bit of Oro, a bit of Akira, and they also showed a surprising amount of Luke.
Yeah. This is a character where we'll have completely different opinions, I feel.
Yeah, the design's nothing like inspiring or special. I mean, for me, like, he's different enough. He's not just a dude in a gi, cough, cough, Abel. He's still got, like, the tattoos all over his body. He's still got the weird, wild hair, you know?
I fucking hate his hair. It looks so bad.
Well, I mean, that's the Street Fighter 5 problem, isn't it? Ken's got the fucking taquita bananas on his head, and Alex has a McDonald's fries on his head.
No. The fries have transferred. The fries have transferred. Hello. But anyway, guy.
We need to stop Dr. Wowie.
Yes. He's very evil. But yeah, the fries have transferred to Guile.
Oh God, yes, I have seen that.
My favorite. I don't even know who, like, what actor it was, but I like my favorite one was people just photoshopping this actor to have Giles' hair from the Fortnite picture, and it was great because they looked like identical, 100%. I'm pretty sure that actor could sue. But yeah, yeah. Now we have noodle hair with Luke.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, like I like, usually with these trailers, like I try to look for things that I that may make me play that character, things that may interest me with that character, because like I wouldn't really play Oro under normal circumstances, but he's different, kind of different for Street Fighter 5. I don't know if I'll play him still, but I had a good time with him in Third Strike sometimes. And funnily enough, Akira was a really good freaking character for them to have him in the season or in this new season just for me, because out of all the characters in rival schools, Akira was my main, so I won.
Hey,
I
and
lost
she
out.
even just does crazy air combos.
Yeah.
You finally got your. Well, Akuma is no longer the only one who wields shotguns.
Yeah. Like genuinely looking at the gameplay presentation for Akira, I was just like, motherfuckers are out here playing Street Fighter 5. She's playing Marvel 4.
Yeah, she's got to do more work for it than a Marvel character would, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's just Street Fighter 5. You gotta do more work for it.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean you don't like how the freaking how in half of the moves the people's bodies connect, but the move doesn't register?
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the things that I will never give up about Street Fighter, because like I understand it's for balance reasons, but like I don't know, it just feels bad.
It's definitely been a lot less egregious with the balance patches that have came, especially since Ono left.
Yeah. But I do wish they would upgrade characters like Necalli, because like Necalli has an Necalli's EX command grab bounces off of walls, and then you can do one move. That's your combo. Like, playing Necalli after playing G is kind of underwhelming, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Like, I think it's very visible things are going to change a lot with Street Fighter 6, because Ono had a definite idea, which was this game would be so much more exciting if I tried to artificially make pop-off moments for it. And what Ono failed to realize, and what a lot of people fail to realize, is that pop-off moments for Street Fighter 4 or earlier Street Fighters are so beautiful because they don't come in every match,
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be rare that you get that like crazy combo off of a counter that you would only be able to get off a counter,
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a display of big skill if someone can not only figure out a combo that only works on counter, but are able to get it out in the moment that you need for a counter,
Yeah.
Because getting counters is kind of hard. You have to predict the opponent. That's why it's a pop-off moment.
Yeah.
But the crush counter system is just like, it's not as bad now. Crush counters aren't as vital to character combos now, but yeah, when Street Fighter 5 launched, it was like, do you want to do big combo? Better snatch yourself a crush counter.
I mean, I know that because I think the first time we played was in Season 3. So I played a bit of early Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, things were better already by the time of by that time. But
like, I don't remember if it was Season 3 or Season 2, because like Akuma and Sagat were in, but I think they might have been like some of the later characters that were added at that point, so who knows?
Sagat was definitely Season 3. Sagat was definitely Season 3.
Yeah, Season 3.
I mean, I'm happy to see Street Fighter 5 get more characters, because Street Fighter 5 is in a place now where I consider it a fun game. I still think it's probably worse than 3, Alpha, and 4, better than 1 and 2,
I don't know. Like, I have comparable amounts of fun out of Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 2, but that's because I don't find playing Street Fighter 5 fun, and Street Fighter 2's AI can suck my dick.
Well, you don't like Walk Forward Sonic Boom?
No, the thing I like even better is Championship Edition. Vega doing the grab, where if you can't jump, like if you're in a position where the arc will hit you if you jump forward and there's no space backwards, then you just die. Like that's the shit that I really appreciate, because like instant Sonic Boom Guile I can beat because Guile's AI is stupid, and if you do a Shoryuken then he does a flash kick every time. So you can just do freaking light Shoryukens until his AI starts doing flash kicks and then exploit it. But freaking Vega's too fast. Vega is playing EX Chip, and I'm playing Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. I don't remember which one it was. It might have been freaking the new Next Challengers or whatever, something like that. No, it was the. I don't remember which one it was, but I did play a lot of Street Fighter 2 because I'm trying to beat all of the versions of Street Fighter 2 because those are the only things I haven't beaten in the Anniversary Collection yet. And I figured out that you can cancel a jumping kick. You can cancel a jumping kick into an air tatsu in Street Fighter 2, and that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. It was the one that made the cancel, you know?
But yeah, I know it was the one that made the cancel, but that's fine. Like, I played a lot of Street Fighter 2. I think it was either Championship Edition or the Next Challengers or what. Like, it was the one that added Bison as a playable character, because I know that Bison was playable, but it wasn't Super Turboed for like, definitely. I think they used the default color scheme still. So yeah, but I used to play one version of Street Fighter 2 a lot. I don't remember which one exactly. And like I figured some stuff out when I was a small baby toddler playing Street Fighter 2. It never occurred to me to do a jumping kick and then cancel it into freaking Tatsumaki, and it hits. It's an actual like three or four hit combo. Well, on big characters, I don't remember. I think it's a two hit on most others, but like on Zangief and freaking E Honda, it's like a 3 or 4 hit combo, and it takes like 40% of their health down or something stupid like that. It's not that bad, but I don't remember the exact numbers. But yeah, I don't mind the new characters in Street Fighter 5. I mind Luke a bit because he's supposed to be the Street Fighter 6, like, well, according to hearsay is what I'm going to say, because I have not seen the source yet. But according to hearsay, Capcom has said that Luke is supposed to be like a teaser for Street Fighter 6, and I like Luke's character design to me is very generic. Like regardless of the tattoos and the crazy hair and shit like he just looks like a character from freaking thinking of a manga, but I don't remember the name. It's a boxing manga. It's very well known. Hajime no Ippo. Yeah, I think that's the one.
That's why I like him.
But yeah, like it just reminds me of Hajime no Ippo. And like, you know, I'm
gonna be honest, I absolutely know the manga you're talking about, and it is like an astounding resemblance. I think it was intentional.
Maybe. And then his gameplay, because like usually, even if I don't like a character, I can go, okay, maybe the gameplay, because like I played Dan for a month, and I still probably would play Dan over any Shoto not named Akuma now. But like I picked up Dan in Street Fighter 5 because I really dislike Dan. I think he's very not funny, and that's basically the entire purpose for his existence. But his gameplay in 5 had added what are basically soft Roman cancels, and that gave a lot of opportunity for actual combos, which is something that Street Fighter 5 lacked. So I took what I could get and I bought then. And this guy just looks like this guy straight up just looks like they went, oh fuck, we're out of characters, we need to make something, and then they just looked at a poster of Steve Fox from Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
But they aren't out of characters, though. I think honestly, they just were like, let's make an MMA guy.
I don't know, like to me it just seems uninspired, and I don't know, like not even just the design. I'm talking about the actual moveset. Because like he's most of his moves are just punches, and like he has the weird freaking like the DJ waves, and that's basically his character, like his moveset from what they've shown off so far.
The thing is, that's what I always wanted out of Ed. Like when I was watching like the reveal thing for Luke, I was like, this is the character I always wanted Ed to be.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I actually like Ed. Like I'm one of I'm in the minority that I like Ed when he cosplays as Bison at least.
Yeah.
I don't like playing as Ed because he's freaking like the way his moves are laid out is very unintuitive to me. But you know, like I kind of like Ed.
Yeah, I mean, like I like Ed's design. I like the idea of Ed. The design has some serious problems, but I like the idea of Ed.
I honestly,
and I like the story role he plays with Balrog.
I honestly don't even remember his default design because I never even look at it. Like I just straight up. If I want to play Ed, I just hover over his freaking his thumbnail and then immediately go to the freaking Bison cosplay. That's his default costume. It should be his default costume. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Hitler Youth outfit he has.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited to try Luke. I haven't bought season 5 yet. I do intend to get around to it, but at the moment I'm trying to save up for things. You know how it is.
Yeah.
And I don't have internet either which way, so I mean, I technically have internet, but it's limited to 50 gigs a month, which I try to ration, especially because school's going to be starting up soon.
Yeah.
It's beautiful that there's like, I swear, every time you have a summer break, that's always when stuff happens that makes it where you don't get to enjoy your time off from school.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I'm excited for season 5. I'm not sure that. Oh my god, I've entirely forgotten which character came between Dan and Oro.
It's Rose. The most memorable one. Fucking Lisa, the world's worst Lisa cosplayer.
So that's why I forgot.
Yes, because both of us hate her. Well, look, I don't know if you hate her.
Hate is a strong word.
Yeah, hate is a strong word. I actually, okay, I hate Rufus. We cannot agree on that one because I'm trying to go with characters that we won't have an argument over. But I hate Rufus. I don't remember freaking Rose. She's that bad.
Yeah. Like, Manat is not that special of a character, but she is much more memorable than her mentor.
I don't know. The only thing I remember, like the only reason I ever have to remember Manat is Goku going. Did you just kill me with a kitty cat pose? When I did her super on him, and that's the only reason I ever have to remember Manat, because yeah, she's like Rose's fighting style includes being very generic, I guess, or not even generic, but very forgettable, I guess, to me.
Yeah. To me, she's very memorable because of her animations, right?
I don't know, because like usually I don't remember Rose exists, and then the on the options that I do, like I don't remember Rose because you know, like I actually like. I don't remember Rose for good reasons, is what I'm trying to say. I remember Rose because the AI in Street Fighter Alpha is a piece of shit that input the ever-loving shit out of you. And Rose had an anti-air grab and a mid-range grab, if I remember correctly, or something like that. And also the projectile.
Yeah, she was notoriously a monster in Street Fighter Alpha.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just going to say that like so for me, like, I either don't remember rules exists, or I'm seeping with hatred because I'm just freaking the memories rush back in, and like I try to be better about that, because like the characters aren't the AI usually, but at the same time, like there's a part of me that's like, well, shit, I have to deal with this again.
Eh. That's always I say it every time, but that's just such a crazy thing to me.
Which
You're a
part?
crazy person.
Yeah. Look, dude, I dress up as a fucking wolf. I think it's pretty well established that I'm a crazy person.
I don't see the connection between that and I hate the way that other people play this character. Therefore, fuck this character.
Not even how other people play this character. I hate how the developers intended for this character to be played.
Yeah.
Because that's what I take the AI to be, or the developers intend the characters to be played as. Which, like, that's why I also value games where there's a lot of player expression, just because, like, you can go, no, fuck you, my way is better, and then beat their bitch ass.
Yeah.
On the harder difficulty, and then you get boss, and then you cry. Anyway. So yeah, there was something else. Oh yeah, Melty Blood news. Melty Blood has confirmed that it will have palette edits, and that's pretty much it. Like, it will have a bit more of an updated color edit mode where you can toggle on, like, I don't know what to call it, like clothing options, I guess, that are easy to add in with like a small amount of pixel art for them to change on the characters, and that's about it. People are like, oh man, Melty Blood wins again, which, like,
yeah,
Melty Blood is in an unfortunate part for me, where, like, Melty Blood may be the only game with a gameplay style that I may enjoy that's getting released anytime soon. At the same time, I think all of Melty Blood's characters are boring as fucking hell.
Yeah, there's a whole thing, like, people are like, oh, well, that's the point. They're supposed to be like mundane guys, and it's just kind of like, okay, mission accomplished.
Yeah, like people argue that they're not character designs for fighting games; they're character designs for visual novels. Which, I mean, fair enough, I guess. I don't read visual novels enough to complain about their design on that front. Like, I don't know what's supposed to be good in that, but, like, I'm playing a fighting game, and and, like, it's a thing of, like, the justification is good, but I don't have to agree with it. Like, I'm not saying Melty Blood needs to change all of his character designs suddenly so everyone will be Akuma with boobs. But at the same time, like, I don't have to play Melty Blood.
Yeah.
Like, all I'm saying is Melty Blood doesn't appeal to me, and that's basically all of the statements being said about Melty Blood with shit like that. So yeah, KOF 15 is slowly making things, I think.
Oh yeah, they did reveal a character recently. Which one was that?
I forget. Let me look that up.
Was it Athena?
Yes, it was Athena. You are right.
Her model looks good. I didn't bother to watch the actual gameplay though, because it's Athena. She plays the same in every fucking game.
She actually doesn't, kinda. She's
what?
Well, she does play more or less the same, more or less how you'd expect, but she's like, they went back to 2002 Athena as a base.
How so?
She has both Psycho Ball and Psycho Shoot. And Psycho Shoot has been tweaked, so it doesn't work the same as it did in 2002, but I don't know the nitty-gritty details of how it changed. She also has her stupid teleports back. I forget if she lost them.
Ah, okay. I wasn't aware she had lost Psycho Ball or Psycho Shoot.
She definitely lost Psycho Shoot.
Huh. All right. I guess that's back then.
Yeah. Like KOF is at a point where like KOF is at a point where it's still only showing off like the smaller characters that people expect, and then sometimes they put in like a team of fighters that you wouldn't expect to be back, or like you would expect if you actually pay attention to the story. But let's be real, most people don't give a shit about the story. I'm like one of 10 people who do. So like I expected Team Orochi to be back because they made it obvious. Like the ending of KOF 14 was Verse dies. Everyone who has died in the past like 20 years is now alive again. So like Ash Crimson is out.
It's time that which means it's time for the return of the boob lady.
Luong? Or which one?
No, Shermie.
Yeah, Shermie.
That'd be pretty ridiculous. Space of 14 and then comes back anyway.
Well, what if freaking SNK has a secret like freaking a secret crossover brewing, and then they just have a team boobs with Shermie, Luong, and Baiken. People would buy the game for that shit.
Baiken actually does sell copies. This is actually a demonstrated sales trend.
Yeah, I know.
Like that is almost certainly why they are saving her for season 2 or season 3 of Guilty Gear DLC, because she will sell a season on her own. And what they can do is, because Daisuke loves making new characters, and it's very obvious, Daisuke can have a season of 4 new characters and 1 Baiken, and it'll sell.
Yeah. They just need they can honestly just like put up a season trailer, and it's just a thing showing off Baiken's moveset. And then there will also be 4 new characters given out like later through the year, and people will pre-order anyway. Like just make Baiken the first one. People will buy Ken.
Don't even call it the season pass, just call it the Baiken pass.
Yeah.
Don't even advertise the new characters, they just get quietly added to your game.
Yeah, there's a $20 Baiken pass that comes with Baiken and 4 free characters.
Yeah.
That's how they advertise it.
Oh man. Oh, can I also mention, I don't know why, but my brain has gone absolutely fucking insane. Because last night, like, I guess because I was going to sleep so late, that causes you to be more likely to dream or something. So I had a bizarre dream where I was like, the night before I was like, oh, we should talk about so-and-so DLC characters like Luke and so on. They're coming for these games. And my brain was, like, during the night, had a dream where, like, all right, the new Mortal Kombat DLC characters for Mortal Kombat 11. All right, we got female Darius, and Ed Boon is very pleased to announce Iori.
I would buy a copy of Mortal Kombat 11 if Ed Boon announced Iori for it. Fucking hell.
And the thing is, my brain worked it out perfectly because Iori's the one guy from KOF who would totally work in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Iori has killed on purpose. Kyo was dead when Rugal blew himself up, so I don't count him as much. Rugal killed Rugal.
Yeah. That'd be an entertaining fatality. Oh man, I wish they'd bring back Harakiri's.
I was about to say. But speaking of Baiken, she's also gonna be in Sam's show.
They confirm that?
I think so? I forget.
I would have thought I'd see a trailer.
Then maybe I imagined it. Because I feel like I remember seeing the promotional pictures and the trailer, but I was like, well, I don't own Sam's show, so I won't watch it. But I may have dreamt it. Then I guess.
I forget. Did they say it's a Guilty Gear character?
I don't remember. It's been so long.
Like they announced there's going to be a crossover character from some franchise a long time ago, but I don't remember if they said it was Guilty Gear. All I remember is people saying it's Baiken. Which, I mean, it's not like Guilty Gear doesn't have 2 other fucking samurai characters.
But yeah, but Bike can make sense because she doesn't stick out. I mean, are you going to tell them to use Johnny?
Dude, remember who they added as DLC earlier?
Oh,
Fucking
right, the
For Honor
Warden.
Crusader Man.
Yeah, the Warden.
Like Warden.
The Guilty Gear crossover character is Gabriel. He's not playable in Guilty Gear, but he is here.
Yeah, imagine if it was something just real fucking stupid. Hey guys, new Sam Show character. Guess fucking what? You better believe that it's Bedman.
I was about to say Batman 2, or like even better. Oh, I forget his name. The dragon. The dragon from Overture.
I don't remember anything from Overture that did not come back for the sequels.
He's in Exerd. He's just not playable.
Is he a background character like Hamburger Man?
No, he's in the story mode.
Oh, then I definitely have no memory of him. The only story mode exclusive character I know of is the owl, the eagle college guy in the bubble.
He's a dragon, yes.
What?
Yeah, he's a dragon.
Then why does he look like a fucking bird?
Daisuke.
Okay. Is he supposed to be like a gear who's constantly in just install?
I think so.
By the way, have they done anything with like? Because like in Guilty Gear X2, I think Dizzy's instant kill was her temporarily using Dragon Install, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
I think so. There's some like sprite Easter egg where if you paid close attention in Guilty Gear X2, Dizzy would turn in Dragon Install for a little bit. Maybe it was a win pose, was where she'd start Dragon Installing and she'd just burn out and fall over.
Maybe.
But I take that as no, they never did anything with the idea that Dizzy may have inherited Dragon Install from her dad.
No, in fact, he inherited Dragon Install from her dad.
Of course he did. Because Dragon Install is an STD.
Yes. Which is why Soul can't do it anymore, because he got himself fixed.
Soul went to a clinic and got it checked out.
I mean,
they got him some ointment for it.
Like, actually, though, that is what happens in Strive, kinda, from what I gather.
Oh, I know about the ending. Yeah, I know about the ending.
But yeah,
like super hardcore. Like, okay, Guilty Gear is over. The next game is going to be a dream match.
Yeah.
Which I don't know about you, but the hypothetical idea of like a dream match that goes back to the style of X2 or Exard with Nago and Giovanna and Gold Dick there, that'd be pretty sweet, don't you think?
I mean, if it goes back to the style of the old games, then I would actually be interested because I like the new characters, but I don't expect it to go back to the style of the old games. Is the thing.
Well, the thing, like what we've been saying this whole time is like Daisuke has said from the beginning that he does intend to like do dream match games, right? Eventually, once the plot's over, which the plot, guess what? Plot's fucking over.
But yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to with some of the stuff he's done that's permanent. Bedman is fucking dead. Venom is retired. Robo-Key is just a disembodied head. You know.
But yeah, no,
like,
I'm not talking. I'm not saying that a dream match is not likely. I'm saying that it's not likely that they will return to the old gameplay formula.
Why do you say that though?
Because money talks, and Strive was better marketed, so obviously more people bought it. So obviously that means the Strive's gameplay formula is better than the old one.
Yeah, but you're assuming that Strive has legs.
Well,
if guys like Sonic Fox keep talking about it like this, then it's not going to have legs, you know?
I mean, like I know, and I know I'm not supposed to find freaking pleasure in that because the series I like could die. But honestly, if the series I like changing into something I don't like, I don't give a fuck if it dies. But you know.
I'd rather have some Guilty Gear than no Guilty Gear, considering there was a considerable time period where there was no Guilty Gear.
My thing is just that, like, you know, with at least with the things that have changed that I have liked before, like those, like What I'm saying is, I would rather have no Assassin's Creed best like revelations, if not like three or even revelations maybe. Like I honestly like I feel like it would be a better I would be in a better role if I was like, man, imagine if Ubisoft didn't fucking stop the series, then where I am now, where the series is just shit.
I mean, plot wise, like, yeah, absolutely, it should have ended because the story, it was Desmond's story, and it's no longer Desmond's story. But I mean, like, that's just kind of the way it is with some of these things, is just that video game publishers don't want to make new franchises because those are risky. So it's just like, well, just turn this franchise into something that it isn't, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, notice how I said that I wanted the games to end before the classic formula got revamped completely. Because like, you know, I may like the classic Assassin's Creed games, but like I can like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't remember. Yeah, go ahead.
There are sometimes where you want the gameplay to continue, but not the plot, in which case you want a spiritual successor series, right?
Yeah.
Now, if Devil May Cry 6 is a thing that ever happens in the future, then I would be perfectly happy with that. I'd buy it, I'd play the shit out of it, assuming it's not trash like Devil May Cry 2. But if Devil May Cry ends with Devil May Cry 5, I'm not really that worried because Bayonetta is a very good spiritual successor to the franchise, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Guilty Gear doesn't have a spiritual successor franchise anymore because BlazBlue is also over.
BlazBlue was over before Guilty Gear, so yeah.
The bizarre thing is that Assassin's Creed has kind of wound up having a spiritual successor franchise, though, in Ghost.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest. As much as I'm looking forward to the DLC they're releasing, and as much as I'm looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima, I am also looking forward to figuring out how they fucked it up. Because like I don't like
because you're cursed.
Yes. Pretty much.
Like I'll be honest. I think that in, let's say, 3 or 4 years, the American like resurgence of Yakuza is going to hit Western developers because it takes a few years for these things to make contact. And what we're going to see is a trend of Western developers ripping off Yakuza or making spiritual sequel franchises to the original Yakuzas. And you can observe this, right? Because like Dark Souls hit in the West, and it fucking hit. And it took about 3 or 4 years for the rest of Western game developers to catch up. And in the meantime, we got trash like Lords of the Fallen. In the same way that when Yakuza first hit in the West, we got knockoff trash like A Quiet Man, right?
Yeah.
But after that, you start seeing more quality stuff pour in. And we've seen more quality Souls-likes come in from the West now that they've had time to digest Dark Souls, and the quality developers have had time to make quality games that are inspired by Dark Souls, like God of War 4, right?
Yeah. God of War 4, like, I took my time to say yeah, just because like God of War 4 is a game where I played through it once and I was like, man, that was a really good game, and then I played through it again, and then with each playthrough I just like it less and less for some reason.
You're a crazy person. Does it have unskippable cutscenes?
No, I don't. Maybe I don't think so. I don't remember.
Unskippable cutscenes always make a second playthrough annoying. But what was I going to say? To get back to fighting games, with Guilty Gear, I think it's inevitable that we're going to see a return to this kind of thing, at least partially because while we don't necessarily like think he's the funniest guy in the world, Maximilian Dood is the fucking champion of the fighting game community, and he can have a tremendous influence. And Max is doing his thing of trying to get some ground root stuff going again. Have you seen what he's up to now?
Well, the last stuff I saw was the KI tournament.
Oh yeah, he did that a while ago. But what he's doing now, he's starting it like in the same way that
he's trying to get more of the Capcom released. Yeah.
Yes, free MVC 2, which of course would logically be linked into a hypothetical Marvel 4 if Marvel 2 Remastered did work. Which, if it did release now, Marvel 2 Remastered would fucking sell gangbusters.
Because there's nothing like it.
Because there's nothing like it. Yes, exactly. It would be a isolated example in the gaming sphere right now. but also because it has a lot of momentum behind it. Not only because Marvel is bigger as a franchise than it ever has been before, but because the number one voice in the fighting game community, Maximilian Dude, would play the shit out of it. If they released a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on PS5 with rollback, that would be like the only thing Max would play on his channel for the next fucking year, and that's huge marketing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I already have plans lined up for if they announce the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 re-release again.
Oh, I'd pre-order it.
Yeah, so would I. But I'm just saying, like, you know that one scene from JoJo Part 4 with Kira freaking standing in the doorway naked?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna post the picture, and because you can't see anything, it's censored, thankfully. But
well, you could just leave his balls dangling out for Pink to find. That'd be cool too. Yeah.
Nah, we had to censor. It will probably, yep. Like this would be me. Okay, it's actually not. He apparently I misremember the scene because this happens later. Oh well, he's also not naked, but that doesn't matter as much. Basically, this would be me if Marvel vs. Capcom re-released.
Yeah, that would be the strangest thing about the first Capcom 2 remaster would be there's so many classic Capcom characters that haven't really done anything since Marvel 2, and Hayato is one of the big ones.
Hayato's super fucking dead in the Marvel continuity, and Plasma Sword is not fucking coming back anytime soon. So hey.
Yep.
There's also I looked up my old main from Plasma Sword recently because I remembered their name. Because I made three characters in the Plasma Sword series, and two of them were that character, but there was also a dark version, and because obviously it was the 90s. But I look up that fucking character's name, and like the first post I see is Fur Affinity. Because I used to play this guy, if I can find a picture.
Okay, let's say hypothetically, Capcom finds someone who's just good at remastering old games from the CPS2, CPS3 systems. What you do if they release remastered collections for Marvel vs. Capcom, Darkstalkers, and an assorted collection of oddball stuff like, I don't know, JoJo's, even though that would be a licensing nightmare, especially nowadays, and like Plasma Sword and Red Earth.
I mean, I never liked Red Earth. I have played it. I never liked it, so I wouldn't really care for it. But I would buy that compilation just for Plasma Sword. Honestly, like even if it's not good. So this used to be my main.
Oh yeah, Plasma Sword's got a lot of strong designs.
Yeah, there's also a Dark Byakko. That was basically the same character design, but in black and red. So obviously I was like, man, love cat dude. Also in my color scheme. Thanks, Capcom.
There are a few times where a character has just been so explicitly designed for one person.
I mean, like, the thing is, I don't even like cats or buff dudes, but I'll take what I can get. The guy had the Garuda spin, if I remember correctly, so that's what sold me. But yeah, like I would definitely buy a release of JoJo's. I would buy freaking the Marvel collection. I don't know, like Darkstalkers is in a weird place for me because I remember playing a lot of Lord Raptor and John Talbane, I think his name is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nunchuck Wolf.
Yes, John used to be my main because of course. because like I spent half of my life being very obviously a furry, and I spent half of it denying that fact somehow. But yeah. Anyway, so freaking yeah, like Darkstalkers is in a weird place for me where like I remember having a lot of fun with John and Roll Raptor, but I don't actually particularly like Darkstalkers. So like. Yeah. Like it doesn't really get me going, but that's partially just because like when I think of Darkstalkers, I don't think of those characters. I think of the Morrigan, not the Morrigan, just Morrigan, just Morrigan.
Not the more. Yeah, they could make a Smite fighting game if they wanted to. If they had the balls.
Yeah.
Though that would entirely hinge on whether or not the League fighting game is successful. And even then, I'd be more excited to see a Dota fighting game, you know?
I was going to say the only thing I would look forward to from a mobile fighting game would be Invoker, but then I remembered Nine the Phantom exists. So I don't need to imagine. I can just play Blaze Blue.
Like, okay. This is going to be the least controversial take of all time. But, like, as long as it's reasonable on the budget, like, just release more old game collections remastered with rollback.
Yeah.
Like, that's just generally happy. Like, I've got the Fatal Fury Real Bout collection. Those are some good games, but the remaster isn't very good for some reason. It's still, like, surprisingly low res. And also, no rollback netcode. No online multiplayer whatsoever, actually.
And also, for the love of God, please, if you want to include the freaking different like resolutions and scanlines and shit like that, make it an option, and also make it so make it so the screen can fill out at least the height of whatever screen you're using. Because like I own the Contra Anniversary Collection, and in some of the games, in fact most of the games, if I remember correctly, you can choose between either the game being in a small square, the game being in a slightly bigger square, or the game being in full-blown 16:9, completely fill out the screen without scanlines. With scanlines, it actually is stretched in the 4:3 aspect ratio. It is actually stretched so the top and bottom touch the top and bottom of the actual screen you're using, which is good because it actually makes it so you can see things. But it also has scanlines, so you can't actually see things because the scanlines in the Universal Collection suck ass.
Okay, question. What is the best remaster of a 2D fighting game you've ever played?
The best remaster of a 2D fighting game.
I want to say Street Fighter 3 I want to say Third Strike Online Edition, but I've never actually played it. I just see that they added stuff like challenge mode.
Yeah, I never played. No, I actually have played that one. Funnily enough, I didn't buy it because I think by the time I had my 360, it was taken off of the store, but the demo was still up. So for all intents and purposes, technically I have played Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online. Just technically not the actual game, but you know, I got to experience some of it.
Yeah.
I guess I guess by default I have to say that the best 2D fighting game remaster I have played would be Essential 5 Special, just because that's the only one I own, I think.
Well, you own the Street Fighter Arcade collection.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Ooh.
Essential 5 Special has rollback, so that still wins.
KF 2002 Unlimited Match.
I don't like KOF 2002 Unlimited Match as much, just because there's not as much content for me.
Yeah, there's nothing to do outside of multiplayer, absolutely. Okay. Was there any other big news in fighting games that was worth talking about? Because Mortal Kombat is kaput for now.
Yeah, for now.
And they're in a very awkward position though, because they have a pattern of like every 2 years they release a game, and it's Mortal Kombat Injustice, Mortal Kombat Injustice, Mortal Kombat Injustice. But while going by that pattern, Injustice should be coming out like this year or the next. It should be coming out this year, but I highly doubt they're going to announce it right fucking now and drop it like a couple months later. But at the same time, like, aren't we coming up on the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat?
I don't know.
I feel like it'd be weird for them to come out with Mortal Kombat 12 so soon. But at the same time, I think they've learned a few lessons from Mortal Kombat 11, and I'd be curious to see how things would go, especially because this would be the first real the first real fighting game altogether to come out on the new generation. Like, NetherRealm does a lot of things wrong, but they at least make their games look pretty.
Yeah, that's one thing I can't complain about. Stills do look nice.
One thing I'm curious to see about in the fighting games genre is that we're beginning to really see the buck turn on the whole thing of trying to simplify games, and it's starting to become a real I don't want to say platitude because that makes it sound empty and meaningless, but starting to become a thing that now we're starting to see get repeated by a lot of guys of saying that a simplified game does not mean a easier to access game and so on. And we're starting to see the buck turn on that. And Sonic Fox saying he's not having as much fun with Guilty Gear Strive is just one symptom of that. But we've already been seeing it with, for instance, Maximilian Dude has said several times he doesn't like playing Mortal Kombat 11, even though he loved Mortal Kombat X. And like we've seen similar things with like there's several Sage AM videos where he says pretty well what I just said. A simplified game does not necessarily mean an easier game to get into, and in fact means that the game is easier to get into for the pros, but they can still exploit the simplified mechanics to beat the fuck out of new people, because you're always going to have, whenever you have a competitive game with any competitive viability, there are just going to be people who are better at the game that are going to stomp people who are new. The hypothetical idea of someone who is new to the game being able to beat a pro vet who wins tournaments is never going to happen.
And even then, like people argue that that oh well, they're not making it more accessible so that that new people can beat veterans, but so that new people even play the game, and then there will be more new people to so they can fight against, which sounds nice. But Guilty Gear Strive has proved that that's not true, because everyone is in like everyone from what I hear is crowded around like floors like 7 to 9, and then there's too many people in Celestial whenever freaking people can get into Celestial. And even if not, the whole system seems to be very top heavy, where there's like a very small amount of people in the lower levels now.
Yeah, that's always going to be the problem for online multiplayer. Is like you want there to be a lot of noobs who are playing the game, so that noobs can play against other noobs, you know, and they don't get fucking annihilated. But like, fighting games are a genre that are going to always appeal to people who put in a lot of time, which means they don't stay noobs for long, you know, if they're quick learners, I guess. And like, oh my god, even like dumbasses like DSP, I guess, can still do good work, I guess, in fighting games, because DSP was an actual Evo champion.
I mean, didn't he become champion by no one else freaking playing the game?
Yes, because they were playing a version of Street Fighter 2 that no one liked. It was like one of those oddball port versions.
Ah.
But still, nonetheless, he did compete, and like there is an old recording of him dicking around in a CVS2 match, like at Evo against another tournament player, and he does something really fucking stupid as, I forget, I almost want to say Adon, but Adon wasn't playable in the CVS2, was he?
I don't remember.
I don't think he was.
I think he was.
I guess he was dicking around as Adon. Like, he did something real. Like, it was the most astounding thing to see from DSP, because he did something really stupid, like stupidly arrogant, like taunting when he clearly had to win, and he gets fucking annihilated by some big combo, and then you just hear him say, "I deserved that."
Wow.
Which, yeah, that does not sound like a sentence you would expect to ever hear out of DSP's mouth, does it?
I mean, that seems like that seems like DSP was in actual like learning mode, which is when people say things like that. I should know, because whenever the like I shot footage of Uni for reasons recently, and I played on the hardest difficulty because Under Night Invert is a very fucking easy game. Like super easy AI, at least. I'm not saying that it's easy to actually play against people, because that's a different argument. But the AI is not challenging. And
no, it's not. Yeah, for my time playing against the AI on Uni, it's just kind of they just kind of sit there and eat combos.
Yeah, so I turn it up to the hardest difficulty, because that's the only time when the that's not like, I would say that's the only time when the AI decides to actually do things, but no, it's when the AI decides to sometimes convert off of stray hits into like full on freaking Marvel combos, but otherwise it still kind of just stands there sometimes. But yeah, so like, you know, when like for example, I had a match against Altnum's AI where I kept messing up, and she kept converting into like 30 hit combos where she basically just looped me for like half a minute. And I wasn't angry, honestly, because I was like, you know what, it's actually cool shit. Like, at least I may be dying. The freaking I may not really want to use burst to get out of this combo because it's not really worth it. But at least she's showing off. I can appreciate that.
I remember when Dragon Ball Fighter Z came out, and I'm sure you're going to disagree with Matt on this, and I almost am inclined to agree, but I remember when they were first playing, the Super Best Friends were playing it for Friday Night Fisticuffs. Matt's high praise for it was, this is one of the only fighting games where it's fun to lose because at least it looks cool when you get your ass kicked.
Yeah, I disagree with Matt on this for one reason only, which is that we disproved it. Because
again, yes.
Yes.
One also needs to keep in mind, like, Matt loves fighting games, but at the same time, like, Matt's in this weird place where, like, he knows fighting game lingo and tech and stuff, but at the same time, he tries to get across, I'm casual, I'm only slightly dipping my balls in, I'm not fully in this, despite the fact that he knows way more fighting game terminology than any, like, casual fighting game fan should, you know?
Oh, me? I've met my muscles?
Well, see, that's the difference is you don't actively try and... Matt, this is the thing that started to bug me about Matt near the end of Super Best Friends, and in hindsight, I realized why he was doing this. By the time it was really starting to bug me, is that Matt put up a lot of shields against people, like, criticizing him. And I think that was one of them, was, like, people won't get angry at me for being bad at fighting games sometimes if I just say I'm casual at them. Which, like, going off of what information has transpired in the, like, now 3 years since they broke up as a group, it's a lot easier to understand that he was probably just, like, sick of arguing and being scrutinized every day because he had to interact with Pat.
Yeah.
Like, on one hand, oh man, that whole thing of, like, when I don't know. It could just be that Liam is overly dramatic as a person, but at the same time, like, it's not a good look for Pat that when Liam was told about Pat getting hired by Rooster Teeth, Liam got sickened by it. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to turn out like Pat's like talking with Mike. I talk with Mike about the Super Best Friends a lot because, like, Mike's like a new fan. I'm sorry?
Mike puts them on a pedestal. I nearly started arguing with him a couple of months back about it because, like, the Super Best Friends used to be my favorite channel while they ran on nearly, like, up until like a couple of months, I think. No, not months. No, yes, months maybe before they quit. Like, I quit watching the Super Best Friends after the second Underground, second Tony Hawk's Underground freaking series started. So
yeah, that one's supposed to be a rough one.
It was. I watched all of it, and then I was like, you know what? It's not really a fun thing to watch. So I just unsubscribed, and I was like, well, maybe later they will, like, make other stuff that I will care about. And then I just heard that they broke up, and I was like, okay, I guess. I guess I'm not going back and watching new content from them, I guess.
Matt would have been able to carry a game like that before. Like, Wooly's never been like... Wooly is great because he is a reasonable person and pretty smart, and he can think through things. And every now and then he cracks a really good wisecrack. But Wooly's problem is that he's not as explicitly just directly funny as Matt or Pat. And you need one of them in the duo to be explicitly funny. And Matt, near the end, had no energy or care for the Super Best Friends channel. He only really gave a shit about his own channel. And at the time, that pissed me off, but now in hindsight, I get it, because Pat was apparently, like, I don't know. I shouldn't say things that may not be right, but yeah, near the end, Matt was really ceasing to work that hard on those videos for whatever reason, and so Matt wasn't able to carry a series like that anymore and really play back and forth with Wooly like he used to.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's a world of difference between Thug 1 and Thug 2, right?
Yes.
Because, like, Thug 1 is considered one of the best Matt and Wooly playthroughs, correct?
It is, yeah. I watched it. I was there. I was there when the records were written.
Yeah.
But
Do
like,
not speak the old lore to me, witch. I was there when it was written.
yeah, that's why I really love when Mike tries to explain Super Best Friends to me, because I've told Mike that I have watched the Super Best Friends 3 times before, and I have watched the Super Best Friends since their first or second video on Machinima.
At this point, I don't like remark on when Mike forgets things like that anymore, because like for one thing, Mike's on medication and it makes his memory bad, so it just kind of like I get it, you know. And for another thing, like if I pointed out to Mike every single time he forgot something I said, then I'd be doing that all day.
Yeah. But like, yeah, like
Yeah.
he puts the best friends on pedestal. And I mean, they were one of the better groups. I won't argue with that. But you know, saying some of the stuff that Mike does without any evidence is woof. Really.
I'd still say, like, to me, they're the best one to shoot for. I do think that, like, there was a definite decline near the end. And I think that Mike does have a tendency to credit Matt and Wooly a bit more than he does Pat, and way more than he does Liam, which I think is unfair, because for all of either of their flaws, Pat and Liam were both exceptionally entertaining in their time, and I would say Pat was the only one who was really still putting in, like, super hard work near the end. Well, not super hard work. Pat was always a lazy fucker, but Pat was the only one who maintained his stability near the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Liam was the best thing about their their V Silent Hill playthrough. I forget the name of it. Shattered Memories, I think.
Shattered Memory. Liam was fantastic in Shattered Memories.
Yeah.
This is what I've always disagreed with Mike on, is I think Liam was a very beneficial presence, not only because like he could switch between being a fairly smart guy and being the most irreverent out of the group, but I also think Liam was really important because he was good at taking the wind out of Pat's sails. Because when Pat says stupid things around Matt either laughs at it or just quietly tries to ignore it. When Pat says stupid things around Wooly's like, but wait, what if so-and-so? And then Pat's like, no, stupid take, though. And then Wooly's like, okay. Whereas Liam, when Pat said something stupid, Liam would point out, that's fucking stupid. Why would you say that? So on and so and such. And, like, when Liam was gone, there was just no one to, like, argue against Pat being a dumb asshole, you know? And I think that's part of why, like, Pat started to be such an unpleasant presence near the end of that channel, and continues to be a vastly unpleasant presence after the channel, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
What was I going to say? Like, I'll say that for my part, generally speaking, a lot of the times, like, creativity is hiding your influences, usually, and I think that my LPing style is very much ripped from a mix of the Super Best Friends, Let's Play, and a little bit of the Creatures. It's been too long, but the Creatures probably play more of a role in my LPing style than I'm willing to recognize, because I watched them when I was so young, and it was so long ago, you know?
Yeah.
I'd say when I'm generally shooting for a more serious style, though, I'm not quite sure who I'm imitating. I also gotta admit, there are times where I accidentally pull a bit of Vinesauce Joel, which I don't like, because, like, I think Vinesauce Joel is entertaining in some videos, but I think Vinesauce Joel also has a strong tendency to just make videos that are just him jerking off and fart noises, and it's like, okay, Joel, get on with it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah,
because like he's got some stuff that's good, and then he's got some stuff where it's like Among Us, Nussy, Glizzy, and it's like, Joel, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. I have nothing to add because you're all right.
Yeah, I've not watched much Vinny. I probably should, because like the 2 videos of his I have watched, he does seem pretty good. He doesn't seem to get into the dank memery as much as Joel does, which is good.
Depends. It depends on how he's feeling, really. But like,
yeah, I guess so.
But Vinny at his worst, well, it depends on when. Young Vinny at his worst was kind of like Joel. Current Vinny at his worst is about half of Joel.
I was about to say, the Vinny that I see in these videos now, it seems like he can't really do that anymore, because he just rips a fucking bong before every recording, so he can't take anything seriously, let alone memes.
No, that. Well, I don't know. When was the last time you watched you've seen Vinny? Because like there was a time when he was really depressed. So.
I think the most recent Vine Sauce Vinny thing I've seen was there was some like shareware compilation. No. It was a shovelware compilation he did that included like Lego Island 2 and Little Britain.
Okay, that's a new video. Yeah, well, it's not a new video. It's a couple of months back, but yeah, that was before he decided that he's not gonna stream anymore for the time being.
Yeah, I think that's understandable. Streaming scene, like, there are sometimes where I'm like, man, I should be a streamer. You can just do nothing and still produce content that people consider good. Just be an asshole. And then I'm like, oh god, the idea of playing video games for that long, uninterrupted, and having to talk to chat. Ew.
I mean, the playing video games for that long isn't my issue with streaming, because usually if I'm trying to beat a game, then I wake
But you
up.
gotta be funny while you do it. Oh
Yeah,
god.
that's one of the issues. Yes, but also it's more of the chat interaction, because I don't know. Like I have a problem focusing on what the game's doing and freaking speaking with y'all sometimes. So like also focusing on a third thing, so I can respond to chat and also filter what's being said and shit like that would be hard.
And like I could talk to chat, like that ain't a problem. I can just like answer just random assholes leaving comments, no problem. I do it on my own channel, goddammit. But doing it in the middle of the video, in the middle of the stream, and like even the guys who are good at it and just doing it for like only like 5 minutes, it still takes you out like, oh boy, here we go. How many times is he gonna have to say, hi, yeah, thanks for the compliments, and just move on, you know?
Yeah.
Like, obviously the far egregious end is Pat spending 2 fucking hours at the start of every stream, but like even like Yogscast are pretty good about it. They just have like, oh, we should probably read off some donations, and they read off some donations for a little bit. But even then, they got to deal with like weird shit being asked, or just like the most mundane shit being asked. Hi, I watched this with my grandma for 10 years now. Love you guys. And it's like, no, fucking nobody cares.
Yeah, I keep bringing him up recently, I guess, but Jerma does it the best, I think, because when like he doesn't really have donations. People above a certain bit level, I think, are automatically added to a credits list that he shows at the end of stream. He doesn't read shit. Like he reads the actual chat window, and so if people say something funny, then he may read it out and laugh at it, and that's about all the chat interaction he does, really. Like so sometimes he does talk to chat, and sometimes he does take information from chat, but it's not a thing like it's not a thing of people leaving comments like that and him reading it out. It's him going, what the fuck do I do, chat? And then chat trying to help him while he's not seeing the obvious thing.
Isn't Jerma one of the biggest streamers, though?
Well, yeah.
I think when you get to his level, you can't really read donos anymore, because that'd be the entire stream.
Yeah, I mean, he's sometimes. Well, it happens. Freaking, I don't know, like once every year, once or twice every year, or like it happened in the past 2 years, twice, I think. That he stopped the stream for like 10 minutes to pull up actual stats. He had actual diagrams made of the statistics of his channels and his demographics and shit like that. That he had the community survey, so he can tell the community like altogether, stop sending me money. I don't need it. If you can use the money for something that's not drugs, you probably use it for that. That's a direct quote from the man, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, if you make as much as he probably does off ad revenue, and does like he take sponsorships?
No, that's the thing.
Does he
No, he doesn't do sponsor stuff, and like I don't.
Some game devs pay him to play their game.
No.
Really? Like I don't mean like Raid Shadow Legends. No, I mean like, does he like play the games you'd ordinarily play, but like the developers, I mean the publishers also just pay him to play the games he'd ordinarily play, right?
Not as far as I know. Like sometimes he just buys like a random freaking like those shovelware games that you would have on like a very low range PC in the mid 2000s.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
does like Joel and Vinny, where a lot of his content is just like trashy games.
No, not even that. No, he just literally saw that thing in the Microsoft Store and went, that would be a fun thing to stream. He bought it and then played it for 2 streams, and that's basically what he does. He just sees a game that he wants to play and then plays it. Very rarely is there actual content that he like. Very rarely is there actual content that either people ask for or that's like freaking. I don't know, like that. That's not just shit that he wants to do. Like sometimes, like there was legitimately a stream that he had where someone joked about him. Like I don't remember what he was doing in a game, but he was not making progress. So someone just wrote, "Oh, maybe do a stream where you build a birdhouse already." So he went out, bought an actual birdhouse, and did a stream building the birdhouse.
I heard about the geology stream. Oh, man.
Yeah, those are the new ones, the geology stream and the carnival stream. But before that, he did the birdhouse stream. He did multiple Nintendo Labo streams where he did nothing but build the Labo things, and everyone hated those ones but me, apparently.
You're always gonna have a rough time when you gotta do unplanned prop comedy.
It wasn't even unplanned. Those were the streams. He planned to make like he didn't plan. He bought the Labo things because people wanted him to show them off. So he bought those Lego things, and then he was like, "Man, it's gonna be a fun stream building these." And then everybody hated the first one, but everyone like people are being ironic or sarcastic. So he thought people actually liked it. So he did 2 more, and that's how long it took for people to be like, "No, German, we actually don't like this kind of content." Which I disagree because the dude could, like. There were fun interactions, I guess, is the best way to go about saying that, because it wasn't all entirely on him, but it wasn't Jet either. It was the 2 of them working off of each other that actually made that stuff funny.
Can I just say, Jarma is one of those guys who has an unnatural advantage because he just inherently has a funny accent.
I had a Boston, although like
the Southie accent, yeah, is just. The Southie accent is simultaneously pleasant and humorous, you know?
I refuse to believe that there's actually any Bostonian that genuinely speaks like that. Like
it's dying out. Both Soon and Muda have talked about how the Southie accent is dying off pretty rapidly.
All right, so I can appropriate it without people giving me shit. All right, good to know.
Muda will fucking harangue you and disembowel you, but. If you're like me,
that's Muda.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like just the other day in the favorites thread in the movie thing, I said that I liked The Departed, which is a movie where every character is speaking with the most ridiculous, over-the-top Southie accent. And Muda responded to my post very simply with, "This is why we should have a dislike button." I just replied to him, written out phonetically, "Kapok."
I don't know what it is about the accent. Like it is strangely endearing.
Yeah, it's the Southie accent. I think is probably one of the best ones there are.
Yeah,
and I think it helps that it's clearly descended from the Irish accent, which is also one of the best accents.
Yes.
Let me see what other ones are really strong ones. Jamaican accent's a good one.
Yeah, Jamaican accents are okay. I like I forget the proper name of their language. That's kind of like English, but not really.
Do you mean Creole?
I don't think so. But there's like this English adjacent or whatever language that I think Jamaica uses that uses a lot of words from English. But they also have their own words. So if someone's speaking that language, then then English speakers can understand half of what they're saying sometimes.
Yeah, I don't remember if there's a specific name for that for the Jamaican dialect, but yes, there are like a lot of words they use that like it's mostly English, but they use words like instead of saying children, they say picnic.
And yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah,
like I know that.
At least in movies and video games, that's pretty well just always what they have Jamaican people speak.
Yeah.
I used to know a Jamaican woman, and she didn't use that, but her accent was a lot lighter.
Like I almost want to. I don't remember the name.
She might not have been Jamaican. She might have just been straight up African, actually. Yeah.
That would explain why she didn't speak that particular language then.
Unsurprisingly, the accents are quite a bit similar because Jamaican is pretty well just a combination of English accent with some, I forget which, but some African accent. Which then Creole, like I don't think the French accent is generally a pretty unpleasant one to listen to, but Creole is pretty good, I think. Or Cajun, excuse me, Cajun.
Yeah, the French accent, like the French words in themselves, like in a vacuum, are sometimes interesting because like the word for interesting, if I'm not mistaken, interessant, and like that works. The entire language, I'm not so sure about, but I didn't spend enough time learning French yet to actually like properly understand why things are said the way they are said. So
French to me seems like a language that's similar to Latin in that you will hear a lot of very pretty quotations using very pretty words, but those are not the most common words of the language, and the actual common words of the language are a lot uglier sounding. Because Latin, there are all kinds of beautiful Latin quotes, but when you actually try to learn Latin, like there's a lot of words that are like "quix est something or other," and it's like, oh god.
Yeah, all of the pretty meaning Latin idioms like canis canem edit.
Yeah. Which I like any language, I guess, can be turned sing-song like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like England and Germany are both places though where like there's a mix of accents that are pleasant and unpleasant, Because like for English, the Cockney accent is awesome, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody loves listening to Michael Caine.
Yeah.
And German, similarly, there are some good German accents. There are also some very unpleasant German accents. There's some German comedian that shows up on my sister's British TV shows all the time. I forget the guy's name, but like some German accents, very pleasant and free flowing. And then there's like, what's the culture that has lederhosen? Is that Bavarian?
I think so.
I can't stand the Bavarian accent. It sounds so fucking silly.
I can't stand the German language, so.
Yeah, I wasn't much for learning it either. Spanish I found to be a much more pleasant language.
Not even learning it, just the overall, like, there are a couple of languages like that, I guess, where like I don't want to learn them, not because they would be of no use to me or whatever, but just because I just can't stand actually like listening to them. German is one of those.
Yeah, a lot of people say like when you hear German, you think of Hitler screaming at the top of his lungs, and I don't think that's necessarily true. It depends on the speaker, but yeah, German can be a very unpleasant language, especially when you've got an angry speaker like Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, but I mean the funny thing is, in theory, I can actually speak German because I have like actual papers that I can speak German. I just phased the language out. Once I got those papers, I just phased the language out immediately from my life. I have no more use for it. All I got those papers for was so I could show them off. Legitimately.
Be gone, German.
Yeah. Be gone, Germ.
I think also Japanese and Chinese are both accents that sound fine in their original language.
Which Chinese? There's Cantonese and there's Mandarin.
I don't know enough to know the difference.
Usually neither can I. Like there's some stuff that I can tell the difference, but not enough for me to consistently do it with Chinese. But the two different Chinese dialects that I know of, because I grew up around Chinese people speaking Chinese. I don't know which one they spoke. So. Yeah.
I can't speak too much on Chinese because I actually don't recall much of the Chinese accent speaking English. But the Japanese accent when speaking English is a bit like again, the Japanese accent on the Japanese language sounds good, but the Japanese accent on the English language sometimes sounds a bit too harsh on some of the consonants, and obviously there's the whole thing of like they're not used to words ending on consonants; they're used to words ending on vowels, which sometimes causes problems as well.
I don't know, because to me, like I feel like that this is a difference of opinion just because I have immersed myself in the Japanese language enough to see how they try to work around how Japanese is incompatible with English. Because it's like I don't freaking remember which one it was, but like sometimes I just look at like an English word, and I try to spell it out in parts like they would do in Japanese, trying to figure out how they would do it, and then I actually look up if that type of spelling is used. But like so sometimes it's fun, like it is fun mechanically to try to figure out where you could cut off consonants, or I think, is that the right particle, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like where you can
vowels are the like A, I, E, O, U, and consonants are B, C, D,
All
T,
right.
F, S. You know, the hard sounds.
Yeah. So like sometimes you can cut off the
Not to be
vowels.
confused with continents, which are what people live on.
Sometimes.
True. No, there are people living on Antarctica.
Yeah, I mean there are people living in space is what I was going for, but
oh. Well, continents kind of requires there to be oceans separating them, and we don't know whether there's people living on Alpha Centauri.
I suppose not. But yeah, so like sometimes it is mechanically a fun thing to try and figure out where Japanese could cut off vowels to make English sounds work in it. Like that's why I like English so much, not because like I find it funny. Sometimes I find it amusing, but like it's not amusement because it's bad. I am amused because of the technical ingenuity of trying to fit a freaking a square peg into a round hole, basically.
Yeah.
And how a lot of times that works.
Are we supposed to talk about fighting games at some point?
At some point, yeah.
I guess we should mention what fighting games we played this past week, which you played Uni, right?
Yeah, I have played Uni and also some other stuff.
Okay. It occurred to me as we were starting this, I was like, oh fuck, I haven't played any fighting games in the last 2 weeks. So I quickly rushed and started up Fexel and just put in a little bit of time in training mode during the early parts of the podcast, just so I could have something to talk about.
So yeah, I have played Uni, but I have also played, I have played, I don't remember the exact versions, but I've played like the second version of Street Fighter 2, third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one.
Yeah.
Now which one those are? I don't know.
Original. Let's see. It's original Champion Edition, Hyper Fighting, the new Challengers,
new Challengers, and the next generation. I always mix those two up.
And Super Turbo.
All right. So yes, I actually have played all versions of Street Fighter. Well, all about the first one.
Well, there's still there's still Ultra.
Well, yeah, but I mean the ones in the 30th anniversary collection, because like I don't have a Switch to play Ultra on, so
yeah. God knows that was a platform seller. People are just that intent on playing Violent Ken.
Yeah. I mean, do you think I would mess around with fucking Super Turbo if I could play as Akuma without having to freaking mail my address to Capcom USA so they can send me the secret Akuma card?
Yeah. You gotta go and grab a deer from the nearby forest and split it open at the neck and the gut, and then the console will listen. It will smell the blood and be like, Akuma is unlocked.
No, I need to do a Shangoku Satsu on the deer.
It's not even Akuma is unlocked. You can play as Akuma for this one match.
Yes. Every time you throw Shangoku Satsu a deer, you can play Akuma for one match.
Beautiful thing is, we're actually like, that's one of those things where we can sympathize on, because you have to do that for Akuma and 2. I have to do that for Balrog and Alpha.
Yeah.
Of all the characters to make a secret character, why fucking Balrog?
Because he wasn't finished.
Because he wasn't finished. Yeah.
But yeah, like I played the different versions of Street Fighter 2. I have yet to figure out which is the one I've played. It's either Hyper Fighting or the Next Challengers. Wait, the new Challengers.
The Next Challengers. They're not the newest ones. It's just...
Yeah. Also the new generation in Street Fighter 3.
Yes, that's not at all confusing.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where if Mike were here, he'd get mad.
Yeah. But yeah, so Street Fighter 2 is a game. I have learned that even though I probably played Hyper Fighting, I think. Either Hyper Fighting or the next. It would be the Next Challengers because that's one where they added. That's the one where they added Bison, I think.
No, Champion Edition made the bosses playable.
Oh, which one added Guile?
Guile's always been there.
Okay, then who am I forgetting? Because I remember, like I remember a version that didn't have E Honda because I would have remembered E Honda.
That would be a Chinese bootleg. Honda's always been there.
Okay. Weird.
The launch version of Street Fighter 2 came with Ryu, Ken, Chunners, Guile, Dhalsim, Zangief, Honda, and Blanca.
Why do I feel like I remember freaking like because usually I read through the freaking the fun facts and stuff like that they have in the Anniversary Collection just to brush up on stuff. I feel like I remember them saying that they added Honda, but I guess not.
Honda may not have been part of the initial set of concept arts from the Zubaz days, but Honda was definitely in Street Fighter 2 launch.
All right.
And then Champion Edition added the 4 bosses, and new challengers added T-Hawk, Cammy, Fei Long, and DJ.
Yeah.
And was Akuma in new challengers, or was he in Super Turbo?
Only in Super Turbo.
Only in Super Turbo. But was he added as a secret boss in the new challenger?
No, only in Super Turbo.
Huh, alright. Weird.
Yeah.
So Akuma really kind of just wasn't there for Street Fighter 2, realistically speaking.
Yeah, my mains back when I played Street Fighter 2, like back when that was the only game I had, my mains were Ryu and Chun-Li. Because, yeah. And I think it was Hyper Fighting, or at least, you know, the bootleg I had was probably based off of Hyper Fighting. that's what I'm trying to figure out. But it definitely was a remake because I was playing on NES hardware, and Street Fighter 2 didn't really come out on NES. But
yeah,
but it was a very competent remake where they like had all of the specials and like all of the characters. From what I remember, it was only the stages that were still, and that's basically all that was lost in the remake. So you know, but that and the graphical fidelity, but that's a given, I think. But so yeah, freaking like Street Fighter 2 before Hyper Fighting, it was too slow, way too slow. Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, you should bring that up on the good old forum because I think Mike and Ted both disagree with you.
Well, they can play Molasses if they want.
Yeah. And like the thing is, I don't think it's even a hard line stance for either of them because I think both of them have still said that they like Super Turbo and put a lot of time into it. So it's not like a hard thing for them. It's just that they prefer Champion Edition speed.
I mean, for the actual like the moves, I guess like my thing is that like I hate when movement is slow. Cause
that's just Street Fighter 2 in general, brother.
No, not
and
really.
Alpha,
not really. Because
Chunners moves fast. I forgot it.
No. Street Fighter 2 has air dashes, dude.
What? Shut the fuck up.
No, it does. Well, only only 2 characters have it, but it does have air dashes for all intents and purposes.
Ryu and Ken?
Yes, because the air tatsu.
Oh.
Because the air tatsu before freaking before.
Alpha.
Not Alpha. The air tatsu before whichever version comes after the next challengers.
Yeah, Super Turbo comes after new challengers.
Then there may have been the new challengers. I forget, but whatever. There was like one or two versions of Street Fighter 2 where the air tatsu went in a completely straight line without any freaking drop off. So it's pretty much an air dash.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a change they would have made later, because I don't think Street Fighter 2 at launch had the air tatsu at all, did it?
No, it wasn't at launch. It got added in Hyper Fighting, I think.
So Hyper Fighting added the air tatsu, but it was just straight up an air dash, and then it was new challengers that was like, oh, this makes Ryu and Ken way stronger than intended. Just make it where gravity still affects them while they do the air tatsu, I guess.
Yes, and then Super Turbo may have the air dashes back, I think.
That'd actually be an interesting way of doing new speed for Super Turbo. I've never really been interested in the idea of just like regular Street Fighter, but faster. Because, like, I don't know, I enjoy, like, the kind of pace there is. But then again, come to think of it, like, when I think of classic Street Fighter, I honestly gotta think of Street Fighter 4, which is already at the Super Turbo pace, right?
No, Street Fighter 4 is Super Turbo, like, on 4 times speed.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And I played Super Turbo like this because sometimes when I was more used to the old versions of Street Fighter 2, I turned on Super Turbo to Turbo Zero, but I turned it way up this time, and I played it, and then I played Street Fighter 4, which is another game I played this week. But yeah, I turned on Street Fighter 4, and I'm like, wow, movement.
Yeah.
Like,
well, dashing is a huge change, you gotta admit.
Yeah, that dashing is a huge change. But yeah, like that.
Like
Freaking,
it's.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it says a lot about how huge a change dashing is to me. That in Street Fighter Alpha, the number one reason that I will play Nash, and I do like Nash a lot in Alpha, but one of the biggest things that defines Ash to me is that Nash is the only character in that game who can dash.
I don't really miss the dashes in Alpha, but that's just because like I had plenty of time to get used to not being able to dash with the characters, because Alpha was my second, like Alpha. I don't remember. I think it's 3. Alpha 3 may be my either my second or most played Street Fighter overall. And I spent all of that time playing Akuma because Alpha was the first game he was in that I could actually play him in.
Yeah, and Alpha is also a game that's full of a lot of stinkier characters like Rolento and Guy that you wouldn't be so inclined to play.
Yeah.
Like, anytime I play Alpha, like, I like Alpha from a distance, but, like, I'm not huge on Geef in that game either. So, that's for other reasons entirely. So, like, most of the time when I play Alpha, I'm like, yeah, who do I play? Because, like, even Bison is just wildly different in Alpha, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking Bison with a fireball. That's unnatural, you know?
Yeah.
Like a free fireball. Like Street Fighter 5 Bison gets a fireball that he has to spend meter on, but I think that's fair. Alpha, though, just... What?
I prefer like Street Fighter 2 Bison, but if I have to choose between Street Fighter 5 and Alpha Bison, then I will take Alpha Bison.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of an agree to disagree situation for me, though, because I do really like specifically, okay, if it's VT1 Bison, I'll take Alpha over VT1 Street Fighter 5 Bison. But VT2 Bison and Alpha, I'll absolutely fucking take him over Alpha Bison.
What? Oh yeah, Psycho Crusher.
Psycho Warp.
No,
oh, VT2, right? V Trigger. You're right. No, I meant VS2. Sorry.
It's the Psycho teleport to me. Like I use it on Bison in Street Fighter 5 because it's the only it's the best option. But like it's like I'm a fucking fundamentalist, is what we're finding out slowly during these podcasts. But like Bison to me is Psycho Crusher, freaking the knee press, and the jumping freaking foot.
Yeah,
and that's Bison. He can do nothing else. Pretty much, like in my head, Bison is those 3 moves, and like he has the fireball in Alpha, but I never use the fireball in Alpha because it doesn't exist. He has the teleport in 5. I don't use the teleport in 5 because it doesn't exist. Like the moves are technically there. I just never use them because I forget about their existence because I don't tie them to the character.
You see, me by now, I'm just used to Bison not really having consistency.
Yeah, I learned how to play Bison from you. You have to keep in mind, so So like
Yeah.
my thing is that just like I'm used to like I guess the thing is that like I don't like I really didn't get to Bison in alpha because Guy is a piece of shit. And and so the only game I really faced him in was Street Fighter 2 where he did only have those three moves. So I didn't I like the freaking hell words. So that might be why those are just the three moves that I associated Bison. That's the things I've seen him actually do the most.
Yes.
Like in a similar way with Akuma, I don't associate the demon roll with Akuma, even though he has it in both Second Impact and Alpha. Do you even know the demon roll?
The demon, yes, I do know the demon roll. Yeah, he had an alpha instead of the demon flip for some reason.
No, he had both.
Oh shit, you're right. Yes. Is it like supposed to just be a bastardized version of the little slide?
Which slide?
Well, like the not teleport that Akuma has, that then Kage
Oh, Ashura
has as
Senku.
well.
No, he also has
Oh,
Ashura
it's not
Senku.
Well, why?
Because Akuma needs movement options. Akuma in Street Fighter 6 will get an air dash. Why? Because he already had one in Street Fighter 4. But you know.
Well, Kage got one in Street Fighter 5, so I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, and only had a multi-directional air dash in 4. So technically Akuma has had an air dash before. But yeah. Freaking like in Alpha, Akuma, for whatever reason, they decided Akuma is the movement character, so he has Ashura Senku, he has the demon roll, which is a KOF dodge, more or less. And, like, a KOF dodge with variable, freaking length and distance, more or less. And then he also has Hyakushu, which is the demon flip.
Alright. Did Ken not also have the role in that game?
Yeah, Ken and Dan also had the roll.
Oh, well, yeah, Dan, of course. Fucking Dan.
Yeah, like 80% of Dan's moves came out of the roll, so he kinda had to have it.
Yeah. I think I might have to wrap it up soon, by the way.
Alright. But yeah, moving there, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to ask what you did.
Alright, yeah, I was going to move on with that too, so yeah. So I did that. I did also play a bit of Alpha. People have been complaining a lot about Gold Dick's freaking half circles. And
yeah.
And going like, how do I learn how to do this? And I'm coming off like a freaking big asshole because you know, whatever. But like I did a fucking pretzel of Reed without going into pretzel. It's not that hard. If you,
oh man.
Like the thing is, I did it on pad for the on first try, off of Reed, without knowing that's the actual input for the move that's infamous.
Yeah.
Like all of those three things combined make it fucking stupid. Because all on their lonesome, it's just whatever. And I mean, even together, it's just whatever. But like, you know, that's my point. Whatever. Who gives a shit that I know how to do a pretzel? You shouldn't care because it's an easy move. Anyway. But what I'm trying to say is that like people, I've seen a lot of people complain about not being able to do Gold Lewis and like going like, oh well freaking there goes my thumb now trying to learn how to do freaking circles with Gold Lewis. So I've never been able to do the demon flip in Alpha because it's a half circle up punch. And just out of spite, without any training, I can do it consistently now because whatever. So hey, you want the Gold Lewis main? I'm your man. I can do all the circles. Like if it genuinely was like freaking 1080s, then I would understand the complaint because doing like actual full circles fast is very hard. But it's half circles at normal speed.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that really makes it like I don't know, like it, you know, shit like this just makes me go, man. I miss when moves actually like explain what the actual move does, like the inputs, the motions explain what the move does. Because you sometimes you can't really explain, because like how do you make a motion that properly explains maximum spider, for example? But like
Yeah.
I don't really like how everything is in simplified fighting games. I don't really like whenever every special is either on a DP or a Hadouken, because it doesn't feel as satisfying to me, because it doesn't tell a story for how the character plays. And that also, like, that matters to me because of how it gives actual weight to some moves, like the pretzel that does to the Raging Storm. Like, the Raging Storm is infamous as like a very hard to execute move in the hero battle, because the input, while not being particularly hard, I mean, it's just diagonals and a half circle back.
Well,
So like
the hardness comes from when you're making the motion from bottom left, like from away and down to forward, is that it's very easy to overshoot it and shoot up and forward and do a jump and look like an idiot, you know?
I don't know, but then like then again, I've always been playing on the D-pad part of the joystick, so
Yeah.
like for me, the actual like directions like that aren't as much of an issue, just because I always use the D-pad when I'm not actually on stick, and on stick I have a good enough discipline, I guess. I don't know. I train my inputs a lot with Zangief to make sure that my full circles are only sometimes like my full circles are only 60% of the time, not actual circles.
Yeah, that's always the number one tip with Geef, is that it doesn't need to be an actual full circle.
Yeah. And
The other one is to do the circle as quickly as possible so that it reaches the full circle before it reaches up, you know?
Yeah. And so, like, like I do, like, I appreciate Gold Lewis. Like, I don't appreciate how all of Gold Lewis's moves are on half circles, because I think it's stupid, and I really dislike the meme. But like, at the same time, like, I appreciate that at least it's like
And you got two moves that aren't on half circles.
I know.
See, I think it's a cute trick though, especially because it's supposed to represent a move with so many different variations.
I'm okay with it, but only because the actual motions describe what happens in the move. Like, that's the saving grace for me with Gold Lewis. Because like if it was just do a half circle back for a Shoryuken, I'd be like, yo, nice kawaii.
There are motions in Guilty Gear that are kind of like that.
I mean, the KOF inspired stuff you will dislike because you find it hard for some reason. I'm okay with it because freaking I don't like I honestly, I probably played most of the King of Fighters games that came out in the arcades, and I just don't remember most of them.
Why is Slayer's command grab on just quarter circle forward heart heavy slash?
I don't know why is Kazuki Kazama's command grab on Shoryuken.
Yeah.
Like, no, that actually makes sense though for Kazuki.
No, why the fuck is Kazuya Mishima in Tekken? Why is his command grab the little like whatever tombstone break or whatever he calls it? Why the fuck is that one on Shoryu?
That's on Shoryu?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't remember that move at all.
Yeah. It's the command grab that he picked up in Tekken 5, I want to say.
But yeah, but then it would make sense for me to remember it, because I started playing Tekken with 5. Oh no, I started playing Tekken with 3, but 5 was the first one I actually put time into.
Him and Heihachi both picked up command grabs in that game for some reason.
Oh,
And Heihachi's, I think, is also a Shoryu, the one where he like pretty well choke slams you across the map.
I don't remember that one either. I went through I went through both of their move lists multiple times. How do I not remember? So, like, I feel like I would remember the chokeslam one at least.
Ah.
Oh no, I think I know the one. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like with some of those things, it can be explained with the actual like move, because like Kazuki Kazama's command grab is not a shoe grab for one, but for two, the grab is a very close range grab where he lifts people by the neck and then holds them diagonal up. So it kind of makes sense. Like you if you squint at it, the Shoryuken input makes sense.
Oh boy, we are not talking about King.
Which one?
Well, who do you think when we're talking about bizarre command grab motions would we be talking about?
King of Fighters.
Ah, yes, obviously, renowned command grab character.
Yeah, so Jaguar guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember most of them. Doesn't the rolling Death Cradle actually make sense though? Like if I remember correctly, to do the Death Cradle part at least, you need to like freaking go like 1+2,
You'd
1+3, 3+4, and then 2+3 or 2+4.
You'd think it would be a circle around the buttons, but no, it isn't. I think it's like just a random series of inputs. Like pretty well all of King's advanced command grabs are like X Y X Y X Y A B X Y A. All right, there you go. And it's like, Jesus Christ, Rada, I get that it's supposed to be something special if you can remember how to do the fucking Death Cradle, but goddamn.
Yeah. So anyway, here's the newest Tekken character getting released in whatever the next season's DLC is, and Hell from KOF.
Oh yes. Well, even she's not that bad compared to King. King's fucking ridiculous. Like I can do the complete chain as Angel. I have to practice it first, but I can do the complete break chain as Angel. I cannot do the fucking Death Cradle for my life with King.
I'm the other way around. I don't like playing Angel because she has no specials aside from the chains, and I can't do the chains. I can play King fine normally, and I think I got the Death Cradle out once. I think. I have no proof, and I will probably not be able to replicate it ever again. But hey, it may have happened. So yeah, that I also played Street Fighter 4, which like I feel like it's kind of telling about the overall quality of Street Fighter 5 that I'm like, man, I want to play Street Fighter, and I download 4. I have 5 installed. I have 5 installed. I have had 5 installed for the past year, really. Like I don't know.
Both of those games are kind of just like, what are you gonna do though? Like popping arcade mode in for 4 is fun every now and then, but for 5, it's like, well, I can play the arcade mode, which is kind of bare bones, and the AI is not very smart, or I can play survival mode where the AI puts up more of a fight, but it sucks losing my fucking progress every time I die.
I mean, have you played against the AI on anything above normal?
No, I can't. Oh, yes, I think I have, and it's I remember it being a very hard jump from AI does nothing to AI fucking annihilates you.
Yup. And even normal Gil is like, you know what? No.
Yeah. Normal Gil, normal Sagat, I think is kind of a pain in the ass.
I never really had an issue with Sagat. Which one? Boss Sagat or normal, or like just normal encounter Sagat?
Oh my god, the most inconsistent. Normal AI Nikali. He either does nothing or annihilates you. No in between.
Nikali's never been a problem for me. The problem characters for me, like the random encounter problem characters for me, are usually like definitely Blanca. Every time I face Blanca, the game decides that like, oh no comes to my house and beats me up with Blanca. Every time.
Yeah, that's a returning trend from 4.
And then freaking what other character do I usually get freaking issues have issues with in 5? It's mostly Blanca, honestly. Like
Yeah.
usually if a character is being a shit, like it's not like special advanced shit. But Blanca, like, okay, well, it's either nothing special or they're the boss character of whatever game that arcade mode is supposed to represent, so it makes sense that they would be assholes. And then there's Blanca. He is the boss of Street Fighter 5. I guess.
He's a nightmare in 4 too. Like he's always been my problem in 4 at least.
I mean, Blanca's always been a hard counter to me specifically, apparently, because in Street Fighter 2, Blanca would not stop doing freaking like frame traps for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know how. Blanca's AI was the only one that was like, you know what, frame traps.
Blanca's probably a pretty good character for that. Yeah.
Then in Alpha, Blanca. I don't need to explain things. Street Fighter Alpha Blanca.
Street Fighter Alpha Blanca is so good that I play him whenever I like. Blanca is probably the character I play most consistently in Alpha, and I'm not ordinarily a fan of Blanca. That was a good time for Blanca too, because in CVS2, Blanca's like fucking broken. Because the fucking invincible special moves bullshit.
Yeah.
Like that's scary, you know?
Yeah, you ever wonder why whenever you're like, man, I like Blanca, I just shut up. Like,
yeah.
Another one of those characters where the AI has ruined the character for me, and I just can never like them ever again.
The funny thing is, I used to hate the fucker. I just thought he was too stupid, but like over time, I've really warmed up on him. Honestly, Alpha and CVS2 and Street Fighter 5, I think, are all what have done it for me, because I still think Blanca and Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 4 is kind of silly. But like whenever he's closer to like crazy wild man, like he is in Alpha or 5, I think he's a lot cooler. Whereas Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 4 is just kind of a joke.
I just straight up don't like the character design for Blanca, and then like
that's what I'm saying. Like when my exposure to him was 2 and 4, I didn't like him because he was a joke cartoon character, you know.
But yeah, but no, I mean overall, like in any game, there has not been a Blanca design that I like, and the AI is always an asshole, so I never liked Blanca.
I don't know. I think Alpha's like very square, rigid sprite design works well for Blanca though in that art design. And I kind of like that 5 Blanca is like overgrown, like he's getting ludicrously hairy, you know?
I don't know.
Alright, I probably gotta head off soon. I need to mow the lawn, and it's beginning to get a bit dark out, and if I try to mow the lawn while it's dark, then I'm gonna fuck up the patterns.
Alright. Yeah, you need to make the circles perfect, so freaking the UFOs know where to land.
Yeah. All these squares make a circle. All these squares make a circle. All these squares make a circle.